Welcome back to Vikes with Mike. As always, your host JC, and my co-host Tyler Williams. Sorry for that rough intro. Wow, yet another week, yet another not Tuesday episode. Completely
Right.
forgot we were going to the Wild game, so we were
Yeah.
able to record yesterday, unlike I said last week. But hey, you know what's not the same?
We took a
Vikings
dub.
are back in the win column. Yes, exactly. We took a dub from the LA Chargers, too, a team that was, I believe, going into this game actually in first place in the AFC
Yeah.
West.
They were 5-3. Yeah, they were.
Yeah. So, very solid win. Your Minnesota Vikings defeat the Los Angeles Chargers in Los Angeles 27-20. Yet again, though, they still make it a bit of a nail biter.
Right.
Not nearly as much of a nail biter as it has been in the past.
Yep.
But a nail biter nonetheless. Let's just jump right into this, man. I mean, first of all, God, does it feel good to be positive?
It does. Usually I'm negative coming on here. It feels good to be positive. It feels good to finally have a win.
Yes, absolutely. Finally have another win. Still kind of staying in the hunt. Had Carolina and Cam Newton not won, we would actually be in the playoffs if they ended today. So that's pretty crazy. But obviously we'll get into it a little later. But big time matchup coming up too. Rivalry game at the bank, Green Bay, to get back to 500. Still well in control of our destiny here. Pretty exciting stuff, and hopefully the locker room and the organization are just as stoked about it as we are. So let's get into this game against the Los Angeles Chargers. The Vikings go in there, and I was really impressed by how they played this game, man. Very impressed. I think that they looked really solid on defense. Obviously, there were some moments, specifically yet again in the last 2 minutes of the first half. But
that was terrible.
Yeah, but that was really only the glaring.
That was with the hiccup really on defense specifically.
Yeah, that was the biggest weakness or biggest sore point that I really saw as far as the defense went a majority of the game. And quite honestly, I think, they were flagged, I know, on that drive as well on a PI call that I believe was pretty questionable, to say the least. Yeah, I mean, you'll have to excuse me. I quite honestly don't have all of the flags memorized, but I know for a fact that there were several questionable flags, and specifically made on Minnesota. And then there were some that weren't called that should have been called against LA. So yet again, NFL officials deciding games for the Xth.
I thought it was better in this game compared to the last game, but yeah, definitely some
100%. 100% there. Yep, absolutely. But yeah, I mean, what do you think about the defense, my guy?
I thought Cam Bynum looked phenomenal.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That sack he had was amazing. Where he just shot through the A-gap and got freaking Justin Herbert. Herbert didn't have time to look up. If you watch that play again, man. Yeah, it literally looked like Harry freaking back in 2015, dude. It was such a good play. I'm loving what I'm seeing from Bynum. I mean, I'm shocked, to be honest with you, with what he's doing. Him just being able to come in, not knowing he was going to start in that Baltimore game, to having 2 phenomenal games, which he's had as a rookie, is crazy. Yeah. It's just shown that he's soaked all the information in from Harry and Zim and whatever. It seems like this kid has learned a lot, because what we saw on tape from him from Cal, I mean, we didn't see any of this, what he's doing right now. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. In fact, I kind of even remember the two of us being kind of really questioning that pick.
Right.
Just because of the style of player that he was. I don't think he had much experience being real safety, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
So, yeah, for him to come in, to step in, to fill in for arguably the best safety in the league in Harrison Smith and do what he's done has been absolutely amazing. I definitely hope, with Harrison Smith officially being designated to return today, as well as Patrick Peterson, both those guys seem like they're on track to play against Green Bay. I definitely hope, though, that they still find snaps for Cam Bynum, because I feel like you can't just throw him in and have him play that well those 2 games and then not continue to shuffle him in and, have him develop even more, honestly. I mean, give the kid more opportunities to show what he's got, right?
Yeah, I definitely don't disagree with that at all. I mean, you can tell he's learned a lot. So the more game reps he gets, again, he's going to keep getting better. So
yeah, absolutely.
I just love what I've seen from him taking the opportunity that he's gotten. I just love that, where he had an opportunity and he took it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That's what we absolutely love to see, especially out of rookies.
Well, and so I was kind of going to piggyback off that statement. And I think that Cam is not the only person on this defense that has really taken advantage of their opportunities. I really was liking the pressure that VWAM was putting on the quarterback in this last game. I also thought Armon Watts looked amazing yet again. I think he outplayed Sheldon Richardson, quite honestly, which is not necessarily saying a whole lot this year, but when you look at the level of player that Sheldon has been over his entire career versus what Armon Watts is right now, that is saying a lot, I think. So those are another 2 big game guys. And then Blake Lynch also looked actually both the Lynches, Blake Lynch and James Lynch, both those guys looked really great. James Lynch looked awesome. He was setting some really great blocks against the run, getting some good penetration right up in the middle of that offensive line. And then, Blake Lynch filling in, obviously, for Anthony Barr. I think he didn't necessarily do like a crazy ton of things, but he looked good. For having to step in and having to do what he had to do, he looked good. So that's all you can ask for. It's nice to see depth on this roster when I know going into the season that was one of the biggest concerns that we had.
Yeah, especially on the defense. A lot of unproven guys on this defense that we had brought in to fix certain problems like that, specifically from last season where we had injuries and stuff and guys didn't step up and take advantage of the chances they had, Our defense got exploited last year. This year, I mean, we've had some injuries again this year, and guys have came in and have done the job. So that's huge. That's the difference 100%. Between a good football team and a bad football team.
Yeah, definitely. I think last but not least, on the defense, at least for myself, I have to touch on Eric Kendricks. He is proving week in and week out that he's the best linebacker in this league. That interception was a beauty.
That was such a good play. Yeah.
I'm still not even 100% sure if he was like really touched down in the right way.
Right. Yes. That's come on. I mean,
I think he could have. Yeah, I think he could have taken those return yards. But I definitely understand the argument because I understand that there was a little bit of contact. So whatever, it's hard to say. But yeah, Kendricks gets a sack, gets an interception, looks absolutely phenomenal. I mean, there's nothing that you can't ask this guy to do. He's gonna come up big for you pretty dang consistently.
He's just so good.
I think it's so awesome having him on this team, especially in a scenario where you lose a guy like Danielle Hunter for the rest of the season, right? Like you still have awesome leadership on this team. Also, Everson Griffin's leadership that he's bringing back in the locker room cannot be understated after losing Danielle Hunter. And Anthony Barr not playing, like all these things, just very massive, very, very, very huge. Super excited about it. Yeah, man, just could not be more stoked, to be completely honest with you. One other thing that I do want to mention, Saturday, the day before the LA game, Michael Pierce was put on injured reserve, which means he will miss the next two games now, because technically I believe Los Angeles counts as one. So that means he'll miss against Green Bay.
San Fran.
San Fran, yes, exactly.
Yep.
So kind of tough. Two teams that are pretty solid when it comes to running the ball. So definitely going to miss him. But like I said earlier, I like what we're getting from Marvin Watts. So if we can kind of keep a rotation going, and James Lynch. So if we can get those guys rotating on the interior and get some fresh legs in there, I think that we're going to be okay. I think we can survive another 2 weeks here at least without Michael Pierce. Any other thoughts on the?
In the end, I think this defense did a good job containing the Chargers offense to only 20 points. They put pressure on Herbert when they had to, specifically on third down, in my opinion. We sent pressure pretty much every third down, and it worked a lot against him, which I was surprised. But, in the end, this defense gave this offense the chance to win, and we took advantage of it. And that's what this defense specifically has to do in order to win games. So I'm happy with the outcome with this defense.
Absolutely. And I think you kind of make a perfect segue. So let's get into the offense, because they were handed a couple different chances specifically by the defense, whether it was a play on 3rd and long to bring up a punt, or obviously the interception from Eric Kendricks. They had some really, really fantastic opportunities. I'm a little disappointed, quite honestly, that they only put up 27 points. I think we could have beat the Chargers by far more.
Yeah, definitely.
But a dub is a dub. You got to move on to the next week. Now it's Green Bay week, so put it behind you. But we still get to kind of go over the offense and critique them a little bit.
Yep.
So let's start with the negatives. Oli Udoh and the holding calls, I'm getting really sick and tired of.
Yeah, that's terrible.
He's still showing some flashes as far as like being really good at guard, but there's also moments where he's either committing a hold pretty blatantly, or he is completely losing on his block, and that's just not okay. I know that Mason Cole got a really bad PFF grade. I haven't gone in depth on the film on that, but I quite honestly didn't notice him nearly as much.
I don't think he looked terrible. I don't think it was bad, to be honest with you. I thought it was more so Oli Udoh, if I'm being honest.
I'm only bringing him up because I think he got like a 40-something PFF for pass protection. So he was getting walked back quite a bit. I did notice that, but it still looked better than Garrett Bradbury. So we'll see how that goes. I've heard Garrett Bradbury's back in the starting lineup since he is not out with COVID anymore. So he will most likely be our starting center for the Packer game. Let's see. What else did I not really like? I still don't understand why they're not bouncing out Dalvin Cook more. He's still running up the middle. And there were like 2 third and short plays that I can specifically think of where they got absolutely stuffed. So yeah, I'm getting really sick and tired of watching that when Cook is faster than 90% of the, defensive players out there.
Right.
So he can set the edge and get those 2-yard gains if you just shoot him outside. If you don't make him power up the middle when you don't have an offensive line that's strong enough to make that happen in the first place. So.
Oh, definitely. Something that really annoyed me was specifically when Clint Kubiak called that one jet sweep to JJ on the short side, and we ran it to the wrong side of the field, which absolutely made no sense. What was that? I like that you're trying to get creative, but you ran it to the complete wrong side of the field, first of all. Right. And second of all, the play just looked weird. I'm not going to it seemed like something was wrong there.
Yeah, it seemed like they somehow everybody knew it was coming. That makes sense. There wasn't. It's supposed to be this play that catches the defense off guard, right?
Exactly. Yep.
You're supposed to hand it off to the wide receiver and then either make the quarterback dash and look like he's taking the ball, or pretend to hand it off to the running back or whatever. Try and get a defense to guess where the ball is going. But it's like from the moment JJ started running, we all knew that he was getting the ball.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
And then not only was it on the short side, but it didn't really seem like anybody set the blocks on the outside.
No, either. I think was it Kenneth Murray just shot the gap.
Yeah.
He just shot the gap and nobody blocked. And then he just JJ, and it was like a loss of 4 yards. Like
yeah, it's like you were saying, you know, you want to see the creativity and the aggressiveness from Clint Kubiak more often. And in that regard, like, absolutely love it. I hope that they continue to use creative plays and to be aggressive. But just not like that. Not like that.
That was so bad. That play is still stuck in my head from Sunday. Why did we do that?
Yeah. No, yeah. Hey, just forget it now, right? I mean, this is the last time we're gonna probably end up mentioning it ever, right? So
yeah.
Now, so let's get into some positives though here, because there are plenty of positives. And I have one that I know we both are probably thinking of, but I'm not gonna bring it up first. I'm going to start with Kirk. I think Kirk looked really solid in this game. I think that he threw beyond the sticks way more. He was giving his receivers chances, specifically one that I'm sure we will get into in a very short amount of time here. Obviously, his stat line's pretty good. I mean, 25-37, 234 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That's very solid. Very, very solid.
For how slow he started, that's really good.
Right.
For how slow this offense started in the first half specifically, that's actually really good because the second half we actually played decent for once.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man. I mean, there's just something about these types of games for Kirk Cousins. I don't know what it is. I really don't. Obviously, he needed like a reset after that Dallas game, and I think he kind of got that in Baltimore because he had a pretty good game last week too. But I'm really happy with the coaching staff, which, like, I know, shocker to hear, right? After the shots that we've fired of the coaching staff these past few weeks. I'm really happy with Zimmer and Clint talking to Kirk and telling him you need to push the ball downfield, and you need to push the ball downfield specifically to JJ, who had an absolutely monstrous game. 9 receptions, 143 yards. That's an average of basically 16 yards per catch. That's just JJ doing JJ things. I mean, the only way this could have been any better is if he would have gotten into the end zone.
Right.
She absolutely deserved to get in the end zone. Specifically, I'm thinking of that fade play.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah, that ball was...
It's either JJ or Kirk.
Complete miscommunication, yep.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, it's so good to see rookie JJ again. It's so good to see the Vikings using JJ.
This is what happens when you throw him the ball. This is what happens when you throw him the ball. I mean, we've been preaching it the last 2 weeks. So why aren't you throwing Justin Jefferson the football? Like, absolutely. He's a top 5 receiver in this league. That makes absolutely no sense when he's only getting like 4 targets a game. Like, why? Why would that ever happen? Like, you don't see the Packers not throwing the ball to Devontae Adams. Like, even when Jordan Love was in the game, he got a shitload of targets. Like, what are we doing? Like, it's exactly. Just JJ's a top 5 receiver in this league, people. Like, get him the ball, Clint. Like, that makes no sense. It's like not giving the ball to Dalvin Cook, 20-plus times a game. It absolutely makes no sense.
Absolutely. Could not agree more. I think Thielen looked good, too. He got absolutely amazing route running skills. I almost wish we would have gotten him the ball more as well. Only 5 catches for him. I'd like to see JJ and Adam.
He did have 7 targets. I'd say just a couple more. I mean, they threw him the ball, probably not as much as JJ, but I'd say a little bit more, yeah.
Right. I think, I don't know. There's so many people out there right now that are asking, like, is Adam Thielen washed? Is he getting older? And I'm like, are you insane right now? Like, he looks great.
Yeah,
you're idiots. Like, you're not watching the games. You're just repeating things that you're seeing on Twitter. listening to Score North or something like that.
Oh, man.
But yeah, Justin looked good. Adam, when they called his number, I think he delivered a majority of the time. Like you said, seven targets, 5 receptions, and I even think one of those targets was like way overthrown, right?
Yeah,
something like that just wasn't even really wasn't really catchable. Obviously Dalvin looked great, 24 carries, 94 yards, tutty. Yeah, there's not much more you can ask from Dalvin Cook, except again, guys, bounce him outside, let him get more yards. Right. He could have had like 150, but yeah, man. I mean, that's really all I am seeing that I want to touch on. Oh, actually, you know what? The deep shot to CJ Ham. I would be remiss if I did not bring up the deep shot to CJ Ham, especially with Mark Sanchez on the call for this game. It was absolutely amazing to hear him react to Kirk Cousins throwing to CJ Ham. He is has a man crush on CJ Ham so hard. It's absolutely hilarious. And Kirk Cousins. So for that to be the hookup, that was absolutely amazing. And then, congrats to Tyler Conklin for 2 touchdown catches.
Oh, that second one scared me so much. That second one. The second one, like everyone was like, "No, that's not a catch." Like it was, it just scared me.
It looked exactly like the play against Dallas. Was it 2 years ago? Either last year or two. No, I think it was 2 years ago in Dallas, where Kirk looked like he was throwing the ball away in the back of the end zone, and Kyle Rudolph snatched it out of midair.
With one hand.
It totally reminded me of that because it looked like Kirk didn't even realize at first, like when I watched the play live, it didn't look like he knew that Conklin was there. It looked like he was kind of just throwing it away. And then it's based on the way that Conklin caught it, it was almost like he wasn't even expecting to get the ball because he almost dropped it. Like 3 times he almost dropped it. So yeah, absolutely insane. But anyways, nothing but love for a majority of what the offense did and the majority of what the defense did. And then obviously Greg Joseph, 2 for 2 with his field goals.
Both on the right side, barely made.
They were scary to watch, my guy. Though, I think you even said when we were watching it, you said he missed it or something like that, and I was like this close to punching you in the face, man, because I thought that you legit saw something that I didn't see. I was like, he did not miss it. What are you talking about? He missed it? I look away for a split second, or am I really that dumb? But anyways, yeah, it was really funny.
At least he made him. That's all I'm gonna say. He didn't miss him, so I mean they were close though.
Hey man,
that's what matters.
Hey, confidence is everything when you're a kicker. So the more makes he can get in a row, the better. Especially going into a place like Lambeau Field, it's gonna be very interesting, I think, for the kicking game. So we'll see how that all goes. But those are my thoughts, to be completely honest with you, as far as this game goes. Nothing too crazy. I'm not going to, continue the call for Zimmer's head necessarily. I'm not going to be just because we won, you shouldn't fire the coach. No, if he wins out, then you don't necessarily have to fire him, right?
It just depends if this team can continue to keep this momentum going of them not being aggressive and them actually going out that 4th down specifically to seal the game. That's where you take your chances. This team has the talent. Take your chances. Put trust in your guys because they can go out there and make plays.
I'm gonna live in the joy of this last week, and I am not going to bring in the negativity of firing Zim, because if he can turn this around and he can continue to keep that going, then there is no reason necessarily for him to lose his job, but again, that's a big if, right? You have to keep this momentum going. I would still consider this Green Bay game a absolute must.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So with that being said, let's get into it. How are the Vikings going to get out of Green Bay with a W? I believe that the key to this game is going to yet again be Kirk Cousins and his passing ability. Does he come out with the same aggressiveness? Do they utilize JJ the same way? Obviously, Cook has had crazy games in the past against Green Bay. I think the one in Lambeau last week or last year was it was like over 200 yards for 4 touchdowns, like something absolutely insane. We're not in Lambeau this week. Obviously, we're here in Minnesota, but still, yeah, like you got the home crowd behind you. You're playing a division rival. This game is going to keep you in the hunt. Could potentially like keep you in the hunt for the division. I don't necessarily see
you gotta win this game for that to happen. But, you obviously got to win this game.
But it's possible. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of things rely on this game as far as your postseason success. So, I think it all starts with the quarterback. He's the leader of your team. All Go out there, make plays, get your playmakers the football. But I don't know. I'd like to hear what you think.
For me, the biggest key to this game is going to be the matchup between Davante Adams and Patrick Peterson, hopefully if he's on the field. I think containing Adams and not letting Rodgers just force feed him the ball is going to be massive. If we have a guy like Bashad Breeland on him, it's game over. If we have a Cam Dantzler even, I think Davante Adams easily wins that matchup. You need Pat Peterson on the field for this game to hopefully contain Adams and play tight man coverage against him, because I trust Pat Peterson. I think he can contain him definitely better than those two guys we got. And I think this defensive line is also going to have to make Rodgers uncomfortable. The last time the Packers came into this building, it was silent. It was one of the quietest things I've ever heard. The fans got to be loud. I think this defense needs to put pressure on him. I think realistically, it's going to come down to Adams versus Peterson. If they contain Adams and make Rodgers look over at other guys like Valdes-Scantling, who is known for dropping passes, even like Randall Cobb, who hopefully Mackenzie Alexander can shut him down too. I think that's going to be the biggest point of this game, shutting Adams down, because if you do that, I mean, A.J. Dillon, there's no Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones is this team's kryptonite. And I don't think Green Bay is going to try to run the ball as much as they usually do. So I think shutting Adams down is going to be the biggest point of this game.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I know Zim likes his blitz packages, but blitzes tend to get you burnt when you're playing Aaron Rodgers. So
right. Yep.
Coverage is going to be
beyond. It all comes out of disguising coverages against this team.
Yes, 100%.
I think it's coverages, and you got to trust your defensive line to get pressure. So
yeah, definitely. Your front four specifically, because it's again, you're probably not going to be sending a whole bunch of extra pressure just because of the guy that you have in Aaron Rodgers. He might make you pay for that a little bit more than the next guy. So very, very interesting stuff. Very, very interesting. Let's give some score predictions, and then we'll go ahead and get into your segment here. I believe that the Vikings will lose. Sadly, I do believe that the Vikings will lose. I think that it'll be a close game. Shocker, but I think the Vikings are going to lose this game. I think it's going to be 33-28. So more than a field goal. But at the same time, I could also see it going the other way, because that's the type of team that this is. So we shall see. Hopefully it does, but
hold on. I just need to hear what was your final score prediction here?
Sorry. My final score
I just didn't hear.
Was 33-28. So, and then I said it could go the other way knowing this team, and hopefully it does, but I don't think it does.
Honestly,
what do you got?
Obviously, this game is going to be close. Every Vikings game has been close this year. All you Packer fans probably saying, "Oh, we're going to blow them out." It's going to be close. Shut up, because that's every Viking game. But this is a toss-up for me. Actually, I think we can actually steal this game, but I have Green Bay winning. I think the final score is going to be. Right now, I have the Vikings covering. I think it's going to be 28-26. 28-26. Green Bay's going to win, but Vikings will cover yet again. They'll cover the half point. Yeah. They'll cover the half point.
Dang. Okay. Yeah. I could definitely see a world in which that happens too. And I wouldn't even be shocked if the Vikings end with the ball as time runs out or something like that in that scenario. So yeah, I like that. I like that. If I was a betting man, not gonna lie, I might put some money on that. So
I put money on for you bettors out there. Put Vikings plus 2.5. I'm serious, by the way, and this is not biased. I mean, I'm not saying the Vikings are gonna win the game. I'm saying the Vikings will find a way to just somehow cover it and lose by like 2 points, or maybe even one.
Yeah, I definitely agree there. I think that's definitely money to be made. Absolutely,
right. Yeah.
Because this Vikings team has played nothing but close games, and they have so much riding into this game that I don't expect them to just, crap the bed. I do expect them to put up a really, really valiant fight. I just don't know if I believe in them more than I have to give credit to the team that Green Bay is right now. But yeah, I definitely think that is totally money to be made. With that is the end of our Vikings coverage. So now those were our thoughts on the Los Angeles Chargers game. Those are our thoughts going into the Green Bay game. Hopefully, we're coming back to you with a more positive outlook next week.
I'm hoping.
But yeah,
trust me, if we beat that team, next week's going to be very positive.
Absolutely. For all you guys that are here just for the Viking stuff, that will be it. Tyler, take it away, my friend.
All right. Let's go out to Washington, where the football team actually beat the GOAT this weekend somehow.
Yes.
I don't know how that was physically possible. I thought Tampa Bay, it was going to be a tight football game that Tampa Bay was obviously going to squeak out, but I feel like an idiot saying that because they did not. Tom Brady looked horrendous, specifically in the first half. 2 interceptions on basically the first 2 drives of the game. What was that? That's not Tom Brady football. Like, that's not how this works. Washington seems like a deflated team, but they just came into this game playing just with confidence. I don't know.
Swagger, this is
the defense we expected from them in the beginning of the season, and they showed out. They played hard. They contained this Tampa Bay offense with a lot of explosive playmakers, and Taylor Heineke did what he had to do. He didn't have a phenomenal game, but he hit the majority of his throws, and they got Antonio Gibson the ball. I mean, he didn't have the most rushing yards, but in the red zone, they capitalized. And yeah, I mean, Tampa just, again, that's a game you got to win, but you got to give your props to the Washington football team. I do feel really bad though for them. Chase Young, one of the most fun players to watch, torn ACL. That's something you don't want to see. I mean, the guy is a freaking monster, and it's so fun to watch him play that it's just deflating. I'm not even a Washington football team fan, but I don't want to see players like that go down. That's not what we want to see around the league,
Yeah, that's an understatement, man. I mean, I remember telling you guys as we were watching that game on Red Zone about the Chase Young news as it broke. And
yeah,
I mean, not only is he a huge part of that locker room, but you talk about a guy who you hope heals completely from an injury like that. I don't care what uniform he's wearing. He's just so fun to watch. He's just so good at what he does. But yeah, huge loss, obviously, for the Washington football team. But still able to come out of a win in which you lose that caliber of player is pretty amazing.
Yeah, Washington's very unlucky right now. Fitzmagic, I think, done for the year as well. So that's 2 big injuries right there.
Taylor Heineke looks like a GOAT in the making, though, potentially. What could have been for the Vikings. Right?
Former Viking. There you go. Everybody's a former Viking. I've said that to you many times. Every player in this league is someone going to end up being on the Vikings. Literally, just how it works.
Right.
Let's just go on. All right, man. I mean, the next game, this game was an absolute dumpster fire, but the Motor City Kitties, I mean,
jeez.
We never cover the Motor City Kitties unless really they're playing the Vikings, to be honest with you. So shout out to the Kitties.
True.
They didn't lose. They did not lose. Hey, man.
They did not lose.
It's a positive. It's a positive. The freaking Pittsburgh Steelers, and of course, the team they're playing, the Pittsburgh Steelers, obviously Ben Roethlisberger isn't playing. Freaking Mason Rudolph, Kevin Fiala's brother. This was a very ugly game. I'm sorry for people who actually watched and paid tickets to watch this game. Just so ugly. This might have been one of the most hideous games all season. Jared Goff, 114 yards. Are you kidding me? Mason Rudolph, 30 of 50 for 242. The only positives really the running backs. I mean, both the running backs on both these teams are absolute studs. DeAndre Swift's an animal. Najee Harris, we know what he can do. Yeah, the Steelers, this is a game that you got to win if you're the Steelers, and you just don't. I mean, even though you are starting Mason Rudolph, you have to win this game, and they didn't. They folded. Specifically that fumble at the end of the game. What is that? Like, you can't fumble that ball at the end of the game there. Deontay Johnson also had a fumble in the game. So the Steelers, turnovers cost them. Detroit had multiple opportunities to win. They missed that kick. Like I said, this game was just an absolute train wreck. Neither team really deserved to win, so I'm actually happy it ended in a tie. Let's just say that.
Yeah, shout out to my friend and roommate who is a Pittsburgh Steelers fan to be the team that breaks the losing streak for the Motor City Kitty. That is rough, to say the least. But at least you didn't lose to him. And if you're the Lions, at least you didn't lose. Like we already said, like you did it. Right. You're not going to go 0-17. You're not going to be the first team in NFL history to do it. So, well, actually, I shouldn't say that because there's always next year when it comes to the Lions. They can easily go 0-17 next year. So we'll see. But, man, I was telling you guys this. Who doesn't find themselves rooting for the Lions, especially by like week, 8, 9, when they're definitely not going to make the playoffs? It's like, oh yeah, man, as long as you're not playing my favorite team, like I'd love to see the Lions win. And it's always around mid-season that they're not going to make it. So it's always easy to root for them for a majority of the season. Yeah,
I mean, just my last thing, I'm not surprised that a guy with a dent in his head tied up with the Lions. That's all I'm going to say. Leave it at that.
You're shooting a man while he's down, Tyler. And I'm kind of here for it. I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of here for it, but that's rough.
I'm sorry, Mason Rudolph. I just love kind of throwing shots at you. I hope you're not listening to this. I love just kind of just picking on him a little bit. Oh, my God. I've been doing it since freaking last year. But the next game I want to talk about, I mean, let's actually go to the Death Star, your second favorite team. I'm sorry I got to do this to you, but they got absolutely destroyed, in which I was shocked that I thought this game was going to be tight, and I was completely wrong. The Kansas City Chiefs proved to me, because last week I said that, this team's falling apart. They barely beat the Green Bay Packers. Well, I sound like an idiot again. Patrick Mahomes throws 400 yards, 5 touchdowns. I mean, like...
Hold on. When do you not sound like an idiot?
I sound like an idiot all the time.
I'm just kidding. I'm totally playing.
No.
I'm just pissed because you're picking apart my team.
I know.
Tyler.
I know.
They're already down, okay? Have you seen what they've gone through this entire week?
Yeah, okay. We're not going to get into that.
You're shooting a guy while he's down. Like, you're shooting an organization while they are down, Tyler. You're so...
I think a lot of people are shooting on the Raiders. Let's be honest. It's not just me.
Bro. So much. Oh, my God.
But, yeah, I mean, a lot of people are taking shots at the Raiders. Let's be honest. I mean, not just me. But... the Chiefs, I'm not going to say they're back, to be honest. I mean, yeah, you killed the Raiders, but this team is still the Chiefs will still be contention for the AFC West, obviously, in the AFC. I don't know, the AFC's wide open, you never know. It's the Chiefs. I think they'll be back. The Raiders are just a disappointment to me, to be honest. I mean, I know they've had a lot of problems happening, but I expected more from Derek Carr. I'm going to be honest with you. I expect him to take a lead on this team,
I know. I expect more from him too, and I think that's why it hurts me so much. That's why it hurts me so much. And I expect more from that defense too. Like, I understand that Kansas City has arguably the most explosive offense in the league, but It just hurts.
They've been contained this year. Yeah.
Hurts to watch, man.
I'm also disappointed in Josh Jacobs. Why does he only have 7 carries for 16 yards? Like, what is that? Run the ball. Josh Jacobs is a good running back. Why is he not getting more carries than that?
That's a guy who owns Kenyon Drake on his fantasy team. You don't need to rely on Kenyon Drake when you have Josh Jacobs in your backfield.
Yeah.
Stop it. You're out coaching yourself.
Yeah, take the pressure off Carr. So, I mean, partially, I guess the blame shouldn't be less off Carr, more so this coaching. I mean, that's terrible. But, yeah. All right, last game of the week for me. Let's go to Monday night's game where it was an absolute shocker. Again, another game I absolutely sound stupid on because, to be honest with you, I've been saying to literally everybody I've talked to about football recently, the Rams are my Super Bowl favorite. And nope, Odell Beckham comes, and now they're freaking getting blown out against the 49ers, a team that everybody was down on. So,
rough.
Yet again, I sound like an idiot for the third time this episode around the NFL. I mean, it's just Matthew Stafford. You're not wearing a Detroit Lions jersey anymore. Why are you throwing 2 interceptions and making a ton of bad throws? The man was sailing the ball like crazy. There were so many just terrible throws from Stafford in that game. Just terrible. The Rams looked lost. Their defense did not look like the defense that they have on paper. Everyone's hyping them up. The defense got exposed. Jimmy Garoppolo, I mean, he was not really doing much. I mean, just playing check down ball, system QB, whatever you want to call him. Just doing his job, handing the ball off to these running backs and just throwing short yard passes to Deebo Samuel's an absolute monster. And the defense played like 2019 49er defense. So I'm not impressed with Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't think I ever will be, but I am impressed with Deebo Samuel specifically and this defense. I mean, the 49ers showed that they still have an elite defense apparently when fully healthy. So, yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with all those statements. I mean, I'm just blown away by how bad the Rams looked. But quite honestly, my biggest storyline coming out of Monday Night Football, and I don't know if I caught the first guest, to be completely honest with you, on the Manning cast, but as far as I understand, I don't think there were any active players on the Manning cast for this last Monday night game. So technically speaking, the Manning cast curse, somebody was listening because they not only did they not have anybody from an active team on the show, but then they also mentioned it on the show about how they had Phil Mickelson on, and I think they told him you're gonna play terrible the next time that you go to a golf tournament because everybody who's been on this show has played horrible the next week or lost the next week. So
honestly,
that was honestly the biggest thing that came out of Monday Night.
Just regarding the Manning casting, I like that you bring that up. Just regarding anything, why couldn't they put a Packer player on there?
Right.
And then just play the Vikings.
Aaron Rodgers on there and grill him about the COVID stuff.
Actually, no, don't put him on the media anymore. I've seen too much from McAfee on it with him. Yeah, let's just tone down with Rodgers, please.
Yikes. Well, I believe that's it, right? That's
that's
games.
it. Right? Yeah.
Well, thank you all so much for listening to Vikes with Mike. As always, make sure to subscribe, comment if you're watching on YouTube, share the podcast with your friends and family. We got Thanksgiving coming up, people. So
yes, sir.
You're gonna be with people. You might as well show off with the podcast. Anyways, in all seriousness, support the podcast in any way, shape, or form that you can. Remember, we do have a website, www.vikeswithamike.com, where all of our previous episodes are archived. So you can listen to them. If we mention some, you're like, huh? Go back and listen to that episode. But we will see you guys next Tuesday. I swear, this time I mean it.
Yeah.
Next Tuesday. We're real. We'll see where we go from there with it being holidays coming up. I can understand if maybe there might be a break in place. We'll see how that goes, though. To be determined. So stay tuned. We hope to be coming back with some really big grins on our face next Tuesday because it is rivalry week, baby. The Packers are coming to town and they smell like rotten cheese. So cannot wait to take care of the garbage on Sunday. We look forward to commenting on it. We will see you all then. As always, Skol.